Hello everyone, I am Dheerendra Sandeep Mula. Today I'm going to give a presentation on a case study of Bitwarden's critical security flaws that were found in 2023. So what is Bitwarden? Bitwarden is an open source password manager for individuals and enterprises. It follows a zero knowledge model, meaning Bitwarden never actually sees your passwords and never syncs your vaults in plain text to the Bitwarden servers. The vault data is encrypted on the client side using PBKDF2 derived keys. This PBKDF2 key is derived from a master password that Bitwarden makes the client create at the beginning. This master password is never stored on the servers. Only the key derived from the master password is stored on Bitwarden servers. Bitwarden offers multiple platform supports like browser extension, desktop, and mobile apps, and also you can self-host your own Bitwarden server. Bitwarden follows a client-centric architecture with syncing through Bitwarden Cloud or on-premises model. Bitwarden's vaults are fully encrypted before they are synced with the Bitwarden servers. It creates a secure login hash and encryption key out of the master password that Bitwarden creates. On paper, this is a very strong security model, but the actual implementation of the security model and how it integrates biometric systems like Windows Hello and how it manages process memories, how it manages data and rest on the client side, all of these small implementation details impact a lot on the security of the application. Now let's talk about how Bitwarden's vaults actually work. Bitwarden, at the beginning of setting up Bitwarden, you are asked to create a master password. And this master password undergoes a hash via the PBKDF2 process. And then the resulting key is called the account encryption key. Account encryption key encrypts all the stored credentials. And Bitwarden also supports optional biometric key unlocking using biometric unlock systems like Windows Hello. Bitwarden also uses a private key to store its organizational keys. This helps in creating a layer of separation between the different secrets. Operating systems like Windows store these credentials in a way that can sometimes be reversed by any app running under the same user. So hence it becomes important to separate the two kinds of risk where there is also the risk of data breach when data is stored and also the risk of data breach when data is in motion. And the PBKDF2 is used to slow down brute force attacks because it uses hashing. It uses 1 lakh hashing process by default. And this iteration number can be changed by the user at any time in the settings. The HKDF is used to create separate keys for different tasks, like keeping one for encrypted data and the other for verifying the data, keeping encryption and authentication clearly separated. Also, the AES CBC encryption handles the actual encryption of the data and the vault. So there is also separation between what algorithm is used to encrypt the credentials and what is used to encrypt the data itself. And the RSA keys are only used when sharing credentials securely with other users or devices that the same user might use on different platforms. The master password hash is used only for logging in the user, but not for decrypting the data. So even if someone steals a login hash from the Bitwarden server, they still cannot unlock or decrypt your vault, which holds your sensitive data. Bitwarden servers only store encrypted vault data and the login hash and nothing else. The remaining master password and the AES key are stored on the client local system itself. The PBKDF2 salt you also uses a salt, which makes it useless for attackers to use pre-computed tables like rainbow tables. So why is the focus of this presentation of 2023 and why was 2023 Bitwarden's worst year? There were multiple high-impact vulnerabilities that were discovered across multiple platforms of Bitwarden, not just a single platform. And there are three CVEs affecting the browser extension, desktop app, and the OS integrations. There were multiple design weaknesses found in critical features such as autofill and key storage. This raised serious questions about the secure defaults and the architecture of that was Bitwarden was using. So, what were the top four worst bugs of Bitwarden found in 2023? There is a Windows Hello Key exposure. There is a master password memory leak exposure. There is also a subdomain autofill flaw. And there is an autofill and cross-origin iframes flaw. The first three were assigned CVEs, and the last one is not assigned a CVE because it's not a zero-day vulnerability. It was a known vulnerability, but applicable for Bitwarden as well. So coming to the Windows Hello Key exposure vulnerability, it was giving the CVE 2023-27706. Its impact included full world compromise without password, and the CVE's score given to it was 7.1. The exploit itself involves the attacker retrieving plain text vault key that is stored by Bitwarden in the Windows credential manager itself. So as discussed earlier, Bitwarden allows for Windows Hello biometric key unlocking, and uh, the fault lies in how Windows Hello stores these credentials in its credential manager, right? So there are Windows uses this API called DP API to store the biometric credentials. And there are tools such as dpapi.py, or you can also, there are tools like Mimikatz, or you can create your own exe script to dump all the DPAPI credentials. The same thing was done here in this example here, and where it gives the master key biometric in plain text. So the procedure is the victim has Windows Hello Unlock enabled, and the attacker who already has local access to that system dumps the DPAPI storage blob, and then uses dpapi.py or custom tools, custom bash script or Mimikatz to decrypt the stored key. And then the attacker can log into Bitwarden and bypass the master password entirely. The second flaw is this subdomain autofill flaw, which was given the CVE 2023-27974. The impact of this flaw is remote credential theft, where the attacker doesn't even need access to the target's or the victim's client or like local storage, local system. This can happen through an attack as simple as a man-in-the-middle attack, or a subdomain, hosted on any other server. So the procedure involves where if there is a domain called example.com, or for which the victim has saved credentials for on Bitwarden, and if the attacker can get a subdomain called attacker.example.com, Bitwarden by default will autofill the credentials for example.com on the attacker.example.com as well, because it only searches for the base domain, and if the base domain is matches, then the autofill will then Bitwarden will autofill the credentials. And then the JavaScript on the attacker page explicits the details and stores it in the attacker's database. And in the next flaw is memory residue of master password. This was given the CV 2023-38840. This exploit happens because of the way Bitwarden manages the process memory after the vault is locked. So if when the vault is unlocked, the process memory would store the master key in plain text, and even after the vault is locked again, the memory is not flushed properly, and the plain text master key is still available in the Windows process memory. The impact of the CV is vault re-unlock and total data exfiltration. All the data in the vault can be exfiltrated easily. The exploit procedure is victim logs into the Bitwarden desktop version. Right now we are using version 2023.3. The vault is locked, but the app is still running. So the attacker could use another process on the same user's account using G-Core 010 editor, VMAP, or any other similar tools to dump the process memory. And in the process memory, the attacker could search for patterns and then figure out the master password and then load into Bitwarden and bypass the master password entirely. The next flaw that we're going to discuss is iframe autofill design flaw. This was not given a CV number. The impact of this flaw is remote credential theft. The exploit is that uh, if there is a if there is an iframe, a cross-origin iframe that exists in a benign site, uh, this iframe can mimic the login form from another domain since it's a cross-origin iframe. And then if the credentials are filled in the benign site in the first place, then the iframe would also trigger autofill or auto onload autofill, and then these credentials are sent to the attacker's database using the iframe's JavaScript. And for the purposes of this case study, we are going to demonstrate one proof of concept of the subdomain autofill flaw. So let's see how we can do that. I have two PowerShell windows running on administrator right now. There are two servers. I've also edited my DNS to create two domains called example.test and attacker.example.test. These have two different directories. The example of form is placed in POC/example. The attacker server is placed in POC/attacker. Let's start running the servers. And to do this, I'm using Firefox because Firefox allows for temporary extensions. I am using the 2023.3 Bitwarden version that is actually susceptible to this flaw. I'm using this as a temporary extension. So we have two domains here, example.test and attacker.example.test. So let's clear the credentials. In Bitwarden, if we see the stored credentials, we have a credential stored for the website example.test on the port 8000. So only this should be on this domain. It is fair that Bitwarden autofills the credentials. So if I click on this, the credentials are autofilled, and I can log in on this form. But on another domain with the same base domain called attacker.example.test, the credentials are removed. And then I try to autofill this. Or if I just reload this, Bitwarden autofills the credentials on loading the website itself. So this is the subdomain autofill flaw of Bitwarden. So Bitwarden's response to these flaws was actually pretty commendable because Bitwarden responded very quickly to all these flaws, and they also gave public changelogs on GitHub, and blog updates were given. They didn't make any attempts to downplay or uh, pretend that these flaws are not a big deal. And they've accepted that these are high impact flaws, and they have promptly issued the responsible security patches to avoid these issues in the future. All the CVEs that we've discussed here were passed within weeks. Autofill domain matching logic was also strengthened. In the desktop apps were also given a security patch where Bitwarden improved the memory handling, especially in Windows apps. And they've also reviewed the biometric key storage practices and stopped relying on DPAPI process to store biometric keys. They maintained open communication via GitHub, blogs, and HackerOne. They also recommitted to secure defaults. So The Bitwarden version that we are currently using, version 2023.3, the default autofill mode for that was only the base domains. If the base domain is matching, it will autofill. But after these CVEs, while patching the CVEs, they recommitted to secure defaults and only autofill the credentials if the exact domain is matching. So they've changed their defaults to a much more secure option, and also applied SOC 2 compliance. They have also made MFA mandatory from February 2025. Thank you. This has been my case study on Bitwarden. I'm open to questions. These are the references that I've used for this research.